Okay, hello. Welcome to Heritage Auctions. I'm Christina Rees. I'm a public relations specialist here in Dallas, and we are here today with Dwight Cleveland. He is a collector extraordinaire of movie posters, of more than 125 years worth of movie posters, and he's coming to us from Chicago. We have an auction coming up that is dedicated to his collection. It's on March 27th and 28th. It will probably open for bidding right around the beginning of March. So you've got some time, but we're going to talk about this extraordinary collection. It really is one of the most significant, not the most significant, collections of movie posters worldwide. And it's been getting increasing attention over the last probably 5 to 10 years for good reason. So hello, Dwight, and thanks for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me, Christina.
So we got to talk a little bit on Saturday about some of this, but I want to go over some of the things that to me, and I think to our collectors and our viewers will really find, what I want to say is your approach to collecting is really different from what we might expect a movie poster collector to use as criteria. They might go for a certain studio or a certain era or a certain movie star, certain director. Tell us, one of the things that's made your collection so significant and extraordinary is your approach. So let's talk about that to start.
Yeah, so I fell in love with a specific piece when I was a senior in high school. So I was very naive, 17-year-old, and I saw this 11 by 14-inch scene card from Wolf Song, a 1929 film with Gary Cooper and Lupe Velez, and the color saturation, the Art Deco design, and this romantic embrace really just sort of reached out and said, "Take me home." So I fell in love with the artwork at the very beginning. I didn't really know anything about film. I've never been a film scholar per se. I mean, I've never taken a film class or anything like that. But I just fell in love with this artwork, and that is what has always driven me. If I like a poster, then I go after it. And if it's from a great film, that's wonderful. But if it's not from a great film and I love the artwork, then I still want it in my collection. So as you said, that most people come at this hobby from the film business, so they've got their favorite star, their favorite director, favorite film genre. There's some people who collect only on one specific film, but those were never guiding lights for me. It was always the artwork. So that's really what has driven me for the last 49 years and has made my collection different.
It seems like, so I was going to say, did you have a collecting bug before this moment? Did you know that you were going to end up with this?
No, not at all. I do think collecting is sort of some sort of gene deficiency, and it does run in my family. My grandfather and my great grandfather were book and print collectors. I love what the French call la chasse. So it's getting out there. I'm not afraid to go to flea markets at 6:30 in the morning, and I'm not afraid to go down into somebody's basement and wade through boxes and flooding and all sorts of other stuff. I've done that. I've been to every continent other than Antarctica hunting these things down. And that's really what's made me different. I've also participated in, all the normal sources in terms of auctions, Heritage, of course, and others where, go mano a mano with bidding paddles. But I've had I don't have the resources that some of the people who I compete with. So I've had to come up with novel ideas of going out and finding things on my own. So that's really what makes me different.
Yeah, and I kind of wanted to talk about that because you're a powerhouse collector, and your approach has actually, to a degree, it's changed the market. It's changed the popularity of certain kinds of posters, and these foreign movie posters, they're very exciting to me. As I was telling you on Saturday, a couple of years ago, I was on social media and somebody had posted a photo album of a lot of Polish and Czech posters
Right.
from before the fall of the Berlin Wall, and these are just fascinating images. I mean, graphically, as illustrations, they're just amazing. And you kind of walked me through the history of that and how they didn't have to check so many boxes that the studios weren't so in charge of what those visuals ended up looking like. But I love these posters, and some of these are in the auction, are they not?
Absolutely, yeah. The best ones that I've ever found are all included. Most of the Eastern European stuff that I've wanted, I own, and it's all in the sale.
It's so good too. It's very, and it kind of it almost. I was looking at a lot of Polish and Czech and Hungarian posters online the other day, and you can almost feel this kind of post-war sort of heaviness or gravitas to these images, or they either really refer to the movies or they don't quite refer to the movies even in question. They're just a completely sort of different animal. But it seems to me,
Yeah.
yeah. But I mean,
So yeah, so there are really two things about that. One is that the poster tradition in Europe started with Jules Charest, the father of lithography. And then, if you think that kind of quickly evolved into Toulouse-Lautrec, who designed, these were artists that designed the entire poster, in his case, for the Moulin Rouge. And so that's really the European tradition, all in Italy and elsewhere. And so one designer was able to put his signature on the poster. In the United States, really the poster tradition goes back to wanted posters, which were wood block, the simplest possible communication tool.
mhm.
So that's really where it started. And then really the way these films were financed, even going back, into the 20s and 30s, is the producers would actually sell the rights to distribute the film in those foreign markets. So
Mhm.
there was some entrepreneur in Poland, for instance, that would buy the rights to Gone with the Wind or all these other films, and then that money would be used by the producers to make the film. And at the time, really up until the last 10 years, 90 or 95% of the revenue from these films was generated in the United States. Since then, it's obviously changed. So these producers didn't really care how their films were advertised in Poland or Czechoslovakia or all these other places. They just left that to the guy who owned the rights to distribute it.
Right.
And on top of that, we're talking about countries, where there were communist bureaucrats running everything. So they
Mhm.
had no aesthetic. They could read a script and they could see a movie and see, well, this is denigrating communism, and so they would edit it. But with the posters, the artists were so avant-garde that they would come up with these designs that these bureaucrats had no idea what was being communicated. So they would just sort of rubber stamp them and let them fly. And that's why we have just some absolutely fantastic images from all over Eastern Europe.
Oh my gosh, the City of Women and Cabaret, and and one of the things that's interesting, if you go into the auction website and look at the images, you might see various takes on, say, Barbarella. You've got, maybe do you have the American poster in there as well as? We'll take a
No,
look.
the American poster for Barbarella is really not that interesting
It's not
to
your
me,
favorite.
but I'm glad you brought that up because Barbarella is so usually I just have one poster from a film.
Hmm.
But Barbarella is an exception because I love the artwork from several different countries, not
Hmm.
the American. But I have the Argentinian poster for
Mm.
that, and I have the Italian Quattrofolio, and then I have the Japanese A1. So I've got a lobby card set from the 1929 film Broadway, which was such an important film in 1929. They made 3 title cards for this film. They're absolutely knockout with this incredible deco sort of streetscape border art. I've got an incredible card from 1918, the film The Cook with Fatty Arbuckle and Buster Keaton. I've got this one of a kind mint lobby card set from Docks of New York, a Joseph von Sternberg film, this amazing streetscape of New York City. So there's some other really great things that no one has ever seen before. I've got a 24 sheet, which is billboard size poster that's approximately 9 feet by 20 feet from the 1939 film Jezebel with Betty Davis. So this thing is absolutely incredible. these things came in 24 different panels that they would assemble on a billboard.
This is so exciting, and we're so pleased. And when we found out we were doing this, everyone in my department was excited. So thank you for visiting with us today. And
Great. Well, thank you, Christina. There's a lot more to come.
yes, there is. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks very much.